Hello, everybody, and welcome to Roll Together RPG and to another episode of our What the Heck Does That Card Do series. My name is Josh. I use he, him pronouns. I shall be one of your hosts for tonight. And as you can see, I am joined by the ever lovely Chris. Chris, say hi.
Hello, I'm Chris. I use they, them pronouns. I'm still fucking ill. Let's carry on.
This is going to be an ongoing theme for quite a few episodes, we feel, don't we?
I mean, I don't know yet. It's probably not really nice topic for a fun podcast, but this might be ongoing. So we'll see.
Yes. Yes. So loves in comments and all that down below. Anyway, in today's session, or sort of block of recording that we're doing, as I said before, we record 2 in every sort of thing. The 2 commanders that we're talking about, we decided that enough time has passed now that we would dive into the Final Fantasy commanders. Now,
boom! Final
we
Fantasy!
We could make so many of these videos on all of the different legendary creatures that are in Final Fantasy. As we've said in previous things. Yes.
Like, I'm sure we could. There are enough commanders. There's, 140 odd? Yeah. Commanders in the Final Fantasy set? But a lot of them are rubbish. I'm just saying. Like, a lot of them are shit.
That's what I'm saying. We could make... A lot of them are, but I mean, I've got 6 cards that are helmed by a Final Fantasy card.
You've got 6. Important distinction, and not all of them are great.
Excuse me. Tell me which one of my 6 is not great.
Try to think through them all now. It's going to take too long.
So this will come up. See, this is what I was talking about with Chris before. We go on a tangent, and we haven't even started yet. So my commanders are Squall, Edgar from Final Fantasy VI, Sabin from Final Fantasy VI. I've also got Celis, which is my strongest deck now. I've also got, who else have I got? I have 2 more. What are the other 2?
I don't know.
Oh, Yuna, which is another one of my strongest decks. And then what's my 6th one? Oh, Black Waltz number 3.
Yes. Okay. The reason I'm snarky as fuck is there's 140. That's a lot. Nothing wrong with a lot of commanders in a set, and also, like, credit where it's due, it is the best-selling Magic set of all time. I think that's the sort of current.
Yes. Even before it released, it was the best-selling set. It's now outshone. I think the statistic that I read was within 6 months of Lord of the Rings coming out, it made $200 million or whatever it was, but Final Fantasy made $200 million within the first week of it being released.
I thought it was a day.
Or a day or whatever it was, but it was a hell of a lot quicker.
It's not like hotcakes. And frankly, there's lots of conversations about cracking an Asian market and that sort of thing that make it more complicated than just the cards are good. I would also say that the cards ain't bad, but they put 140 legends in because they tried to cherry pick all of the best characters from all of the numbered mainline games, and that's, 16 games?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's too many characters. I'm a Final Fantasy fan. I like Final Fantasy. I found myself getting more frustrated that the games I like didn't get more attention than I enjoyed the fact that rando character A from Game Over Here that I have played twice got a nice card. And a lot of them are classic archetypes, well constructed. Like, listen, Magic has classic archetypes. If it's in black-white, chances are it's sacrifice or aristocrats. Magic has a process. And it's fine that Magic has a process. This felt very much like, we know people are going to buy this because it's totally hitting a market we don't usually get, so let's hit all the classics, Let's make it do good in a sense that we know what works in this game currently. No need to push the boat out. No need to be too original. Let's just literally smack down stuff people are going to want to like and play. And then their bonus sheet was just literally every popular card with some sort of Final Fantasy art splashed on it. That sort of
amazing Final Fantasy art in most cases.
I'm not critiquing Amano, babe. It's the art's incredible. But why the fuck is the Tidus and Yuna being upset in the water thing on it? Why is it on a Ristic study? What does that mean? Ristic studies about the acquisition of knowledge at a cost, and the cost is to your opponents. Because that's why it's ristic, it's repetitive. What's that got to do with a love story? A really important, valid love story. And I like 10, and the love story in 10's really good because he's not real, and I like that.
Spoiler alert for anybody who's not played a 20-odd year old game.
Exactly. I mean, come on now. Ooh, guess what? Also, it's a Final Fantasy game. Everything's a love story that's doomed. It's just Final Fantasy is all doomed love stories. There's every single episode of it is a doomed love story in its own way. Although sometimes they still get to be together. Anyway, point being that there was a level at which it felt like a lot of this stuff was thrown together. It didn't matter that it was thrown together because it was going to sell. The fact that it wasn't awful means it sold better than it would have done. Yeah. And the fact that it was archetypal, doing things that Magic always does well, is no bad thing. But I mean, I said this to you, there's 140 commanders. I'm interested in 2, 4, if that. And frankly, well, at the time, they were incredibly expensive, and now they're not expensive at all because they oversaturated the market, and now everything's worth nothing, which is rubbish if you spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds to get your cards, Josh.
I didn't, so ha-ha!
You did. You spent a fortune on the pre-release sets.
No, I got the 2 precons, which I got for slightly over MRP, and then I got the pre-release bundle and the starter kit. Starter kit's the same price as what it was when I got it.
Mm-hmm.
The Final Fantasy 6 precon has gone down by £2.
No. The value of the cards within those products. Consider how much you paid and how much each individual card is worth, and it's hilarious. Because you didn't get shiny foil versions that are sort of retaining value if you really squint. Like,
yeah,
I know. Like, I don't want to be like, capitalism, because it's not a day ending in Y. But it bugs me that a franchise that I really like, and I know you really like too, became a cash cow, got treated like a cash cow, and now looking back on it, it's not that. Like, okay, to give another example, Edge of Eternities is about to drop tomorrow. I'm not sure. It's really close. It's got 5 archetypes based around the standard, based around primary colours. The factions of the story are all 5 primary colours. Mm-hmm. They're not doing anything that amazing or original. It's very much the black faction is all about self-sacrifice and things going wrong. It's not trying super hard because the actual Magic story they wrote for it is dense fucking sci-fi. It's good, but it's got probability curves, it's got all sorts of nonsense that it's very hard to grab hold of. So I know what the 5 colours of mana are. I know that the black faction, while not necessarily evil, will be very self-serving. I know the white faction, while not necessarily good, will be very holier than thou. Like, it ticks into some basic archetypes because the story is quite complicated. It needed it. And then the actual set itself, it's got new tokens that work like a rampant growth, but they're not easy to make. It's got a red-white commander that turns every artifact into food. Like, it's got complexity. It's got complexity. It's got variance. They've now said that any legendary artifact, enchantment, whatever, that ends up at some point, even if it levels up, getting a power toughness box, can be a commander. So now you've got legendary spaceship commanders, and that's a really interesting, crunchy way of looking at that. That's a commander that if you play it, won't necessarily become a creature, which means your commander is more resilient than your average commander, which is a creature and can be targeted for removal. Like, think about all the inventiveness in that. Then think about Final Fantasy's ticking boxes to sell lots of cards. Like, okay, we're not going to talk about her today.
No, but it does seem like the way that they're doing it is they know Universes Beyond is the thing that's going to bring their money in. I mean, we've had Edge of Eternity's spoilers coming over the MagicCon that they recently had, along with Spider-Man and Avatar, which are the next 2 sets. There's a lot of people saying they're getting a lot of sort of, what's the word? They're getting a lot of fatigue from all of the releases. They can't keep up with it. Yeah. But what it seems like they're doing is Universes Beyond they know is going to be their money thing. So that's going to be, there's not going to be anything particularly new in there other than, I mean, obviously Final Fantasy, we had the Saga creatures, but there wasn't much else other than that.
No,
but
not
with
really.
Edge of Eternities, that's where all the Edge of Eternities and all of the in-universe stuff is where all of the big shifts to the game are going to come, I reckon.
Probably. I mean, well, this is not what this podcast is supposed to be about, but looking at Spider-Man stuff already, I mean, so inventive. Greens doing green stuff, like.
But they're flavourful. That's the thing, and that's the thing that you can say about Final Fantasy is a lot of the Final Fantasy stuff is flavourful to what it is.
Sure.
Like Suplex, which will appear now, is such a flavourful card for what it does.
I mean, I love that they've put it in. Like, okay, the Final Fantasy set was made by fans. That is evident because Suplex is in it. And unless you're a really big nerd, suplexing a train is not something anyone will understand. And frankly, if you don't understand that from this conversation now, go play 6. It's great. Or
watch me play for it on Twitch.
Yeah, or watch Josh play for it on Twitch if you get vicarious thrills in watching someone else play a game. I don't understand the internet. Fans made it and they are interested in it, and they therefore put in some nice, like, interesting touches of things they wanted to get right. And I can appreciate that. But of the 141 legendaries in it, there are maybe 5 to 10 designs that break the mold, that are interesting, that do something a bit different. And they're either really overhyped and everyone wants them and they cost an absolute fortune, or they're tucked away little weirdos that'll take forever to unpick, which is what we're looking at today, which is good.
Yeah, exactly. Which is now where we're going to circle back to. As I said, we could do a lot of videos on various Final Fantasy commanders, at least 6 from my end. But today, today's episode, we are going to be talking about my favourite Final Fantasy character. So much so that I have him tattooed on my arm. Almost the exact artwork that is on his standard card. Not quite, but almost. Which was freaky when I saw it. But this is, we're going to be talking about today, Squall, SeeD Mercenary. Squall is a black and white 2 human knight mercenary. He is a 3/4, and he has Rough Divide, which is his limit break ability. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gains double strike into end of turn. Whenever Squall deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is this card went under the radar to start off with because a lot of people were focusing on Cloud and equipments, and Final Fantasy VIII sort of, or at least most of the Final Fantasy VIII cards sort of went under the radar, as did a lot of other cards. Like from Final Fantasy XII, there's a commander in there that is actually quite good. But yeah, funny story about Squall as a card. My first ever attempt at building a deck that wasn't made from a precon, that wasn't a precon that I'd edited, was a card called Rafik of the Many. Rafik of the Many has Exalted, so when he attacks alone, he gets +1/+1, and then he attacks. If a creature and he also has the ability, if a creature attacks alone, it gains double strike until end of turn, which is Squall's first ability. So when I saw that, I was like, this is just, Rafik is my favorite Magic the Gathering creature, in terms of his lore and stuff. Goro would be second, and Squall was my favorite Final Fantasy character. So that is, yeah, it was just really freaky seeing that when I saw that ability, and it took me ages to try and work out a deck to work with him, but I have one, and we're going to discuss our picks for cards to go in his deck. Now, this is just our suggestions. Please feel free to leave any of your own suggestions in the comments down below.
Way to undercut our brilliance, man. I mean, just saying.
I mean, mine are for some reason I've got one card in mind that's actually for the next video that we're doing and not this one, so I don't know why that's there.
While you're sorting out your tech, let me, we can pick out cards. He's a new commander, so people are throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, which is perfectly fine. You need, commanders that haven't had years and years of people making decks around them are going to have, selling EDH pages that are a bit like, does this card work? I don't know, I'm throwing it in. And I'm not saying that you won't necessarily be able to, put together the perfect net deck yet on Squall. You can. People have already started to find out what's good. But because he is so new, a lot of thinking about how he works and what he does will not have been done yet. So chances are the cards that well, certainly I'm talking about today, will be ones you wouldn't even have considered, because why would you have? It's so early in the process of looking into a commander. No one's sat down and gone, actually, this one. So, yeah, that's obviously a really good starting point with these. Josh, when can I start slagging off Final Fantasy VIII? Just let me know, because I know it's your favourite game and you love it more than anything, but I need to know when I can let the, we all have amnesia plot start to get
I mean, you can go on it. You can go on it whenever you want. I mean, Squall is my favourite Final Fantasy character. Final Fantasy VIII is by no means my favourite Final Fantasy.
Squall is a plank of wood. Squall walks around going, whatever. That's all he does. He's just grumpy 18-year-old.
Yeah, he's a cool lone wolf type with a gunblade.
He's a 19-year-old asshole. That's all he is.
He's got a gunblade.
I'm really sad.
Who doesn't like talking to people. He was perfect when I was growing up.
Yeah, okay. When you were growing up, can we just agree that Squall's a great character when you're 18, and now you look at him now going, fucking kids. Like, you just do. There's no way around it.
He's still cool. I still like, I'd dress up as Squall on the daily.
Okay, fine. Well, Final Fantasy VIII is a choice, I think, as a game in many ways. Because, oh my god,
definitely has the best trading card system in it. Trading card game in that was brilliant. I couldn't get on with Final Fantasy IX.
Oh no, because Final Fantasy IX requires a you have to understand a 4-digit hexadecimal system to play it.
Yeah, whereas I really liked 8s. So anyway, my first card
is it Triple Triad in 8?
I can't remember what the card game's called. I think there is a card called Triple Triad, so I'm going to guess it's called Triple Triad. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
To be fair, the best one I've ever encountered is in The Witcher, and it's Gwent. That's a surprisingly detailed, elaborate game for a side-thought huge game.
Right, so my first card that I'm going to talk about now, this particular card falls under a particular archetype of cards, which are, I put you on the board, you lose creatures. But this particular one that I'm going to talk about is in I think all of these are in my deck. So that was nice and easy. I just looked at my deck and went, that one. This one is Plague Crafter. It is a black and 2 for a human shaman 3/2. And he says, when this creature enters, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker of their choice. Each player who can't discards a card. Now, there are other cards like Fleshbag Marauder and Accursed Marauder and stuff like that. That all do similar sorts of things. When they come onto the board, each opponent sacrifices a creature. When you play this,
they're called edicts. Wait, edicts.
Edicts. There we go.
The first one was called Cruel Edict, I think. I can't remember.
Yeah, when you play these cards, you can choose to sacrifice that creature itself when it comes in, and because all of them, most of them, about 90% of them cost 3 mana. When Squall deals combat damage, you can get them out. And you can start wiping your opponent's board.
Yeah, we didn't really intro with this, but Squall is recursion on a stick. Now, Black and White loves recursion on a stick. Recursion stick is good. Whenever you do damage, recur something with power 3 or less onto the battlefield directly. That's
mana value 3 or less, which means you can get lands.
Yes. What that means is whenever Squall manages to connect, which you need to connect with Squall, that is just a thing that needs to happen in this deck. No questions asked. If you are cycling, like sacrificing your own things, if you are putting things on the battlefield that die, it doesn't matter. You can replay them every turn as long as Squall does damage, which there are many ways to do. Yes. And double strike means that, is it do damage to an opponent or do damage to it? What does Squall say?
Squall says, whenever Squall deals combat damage to a player, return target permanent card with mana value 3 or less. So double strike means he'll get 2 back.
Exactly. So he's already getting back 2 things. So you want to throw things into your own graveyard. So a Plague Crafter that goes, everyone gets rid of a thing. I'll get rid of the Plague Crafter because next turn it's coming back again, baby. And then every time he comes back, you do it again and again and again. Repeating edicts is quite high on the SALT score of things people tend not to like. So
yeah, I was going to say you could run all of those creatures in your Squall deck. Just be prepared to be the target. Especially if you're bringing 2 of them out a turn.
Yeah, like I have one deck where I use edicts, and it's a deck where I literally give you tokens, so you sacrifice them, so I get benefit. But that's the only place because it's so mean. It's like, oh, I built up a board. That's nice. It all goes away. And all my deck's built to bring it all back again. Yours isn't.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, so that is my first one, and all of the other ones that come with it.
Mm-hmm. Right. I've got other cards that I want to talk about with regards to recursion, but as we said earlier, Squall needs to connect. It's quite important that Squall connects, because if he doesn't connect, none of this shit matters. There are many ways to how Squall connects. Like, there are so many cards in the format that say things like this creature is unblockable, this creature has trample, stuff like that. And I'm sure Joe's going to talk about some of those at some point. The one I'm going to pick up on, because I absolutely love its flavor, and it's perfect for this deck, is from Assassin's Creed, and it's called Smoke Bomb. It is a 3 colorless mana artifact. In other words, you can recur it. It has flash, which means you can cast it on your opponent's turns, which is relevant because when you cast it, all creatures have Shroud. They can't be the target of spells or abilities. That's gross.
Yeah, it gives protection.
I mean, it gives protection. Like, okay, giving creatures hexproof, i.e. they can't be targeted, is powerful. Giving creatures Shroud means that your effect can't target them either. So what you basically do is you throw down a smoke bomb and go, no one does anything. Cha! Because board wipes and things that don't target can still work. Horribly, sacrifice effects don't target, so you need to get around this shit. But yeah, giving everything Shroud is amazing. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice this artifact. When you do, target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. In other words, you can use it as protection on someone else's turn. Just literally, bang. Nothing happens. My creatures don't die. Nothing goes away. You can use it on someone else's turn to stop them doing things, because all creatures having Shroud means their ability to put 1/1 counters on their creatures, their ability to sacrifice their own creatures, all that sort of thing. Anything that targets doesn't anymore. And this lasts until the beginning of your upkeep. It is a board stall on a grand level. And then, at your upkeep, you sacrifice into your graveyard, at which point Squall is unblockable. You hit your opponent, which means you can recur to mana value 3 or less artifacts or creatures. What is this? It's a mana value 3 artifact. If you really want to dick people over, recur it, because then everything's got Shroud again until your next turn, and then it goes in. He's unblockable. The cycle goes. People will find ways to kill you if you do this, but you don't have to do it every turn. You can throw this early on as like a don't destroy my commander, or I want to do this, I want to do that, and then it's in your graveyard ready to use again. Or you can throw it late and make sure they don't destroy Squall at an important moment and just win the game. It's cool, and it's Assassin's Creed flavored, and it's really busted, and it's 19p. What is wrong with people?
I actually do have one that I actually recently, before I saw your list, added into the deck, so that will be in the deck list.
It's so good in the deck. Why would you not play it in this deck? It's obviously good.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Sticking with the Final Fantasy theme and going with a card that is slightly pricier, but also has a unblockable ability, and the fact that I picture Squall wearing it, Brotherhood Regalia. Squall.
That's Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, no. So this is, you said an Assassin's Creed card. I said an Assassin's Creed card. So
you said go with Final Fantasy theming.
Oh, I meant Assassin's Creed, sorry, because you said Smoke Bomb.
Nothing says Final Fantasy like Brotherhood Regalia.
I'm sorry, I got confused. Anyway, Brotherhood Regalia, because seeing Squall in Ezio's outfit is what I need in life. Brotherhood Regalia is a 2-cost colorless artifact equipment that states equipped creature has Ward 2, is an assassin in addition to its other types, and can't be blocked. It has
Squall, you're an assassin. Whatever.
Yeah. It equips to a legendary creature for 1, and it equips to any other creature for 3. But you obviously want this on Squall, so yeah, 100%. So it's a very good card. It gives him unblockable. Yeah, I love it. I think it's a brilliant card.
I mean, frankly, equipment is good in this deck. Anything that gives Squall lots and lots of power toughness, so anything that blocks him will die. In other words, either they block him and lose a thing, or you get 2 creatures or two things from your graveyard back, will be the calculus they have to make. And a lot of equipment says, hey, it's got flying, it's got trample, it's got can't be blocked, Can't touch it. Like, equipment has very good ways to protect things, and equipment decks tend to fall into that category of what tends to be referred to as a Voltron deck, which is just throw all your shit on one creature. And in this deck, you specifically want to throw all your shit on Squall because Squall's ability is so heckin' good. Like,
yes,
I was trying to look for other... Actually, no, I've got a couple. In fact, that's the next card I'll jump to, if you're right, Josh. I'll jump to the next card on this one, because actually...
go for it.
Squall specifically says... if a creature attacks alone, it has double strike. So if Squall attacks, he gets double strike. But that also applies to all other creatures that you control.
Yes.
Yeah. Where this deck might fall down is that everything's on Squall, right? Mm-hmm. That if Squall gets removed, blocked, undermined in some way, then maybe tell him that he's 18 and that haircut needs to go. If that happens, you will be in a position where your whole board state starts to fall apart very quickly. You can also have Squall on the board and have other creatures on the board that are effective. I popped down this one. It's one of a card that I have in... We talked about Drabic a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, a while ago. This is one of 2 black flying haste creatures that I have in that deck, because they got flying and haste, which means literally if Squall's there, it is the obvious target. Everyone's like, we're going to get rid of Squall. Suddenly you plonk down this creature and they're going, if that one attacks and gets double strike. So Rankle, Master of Prangs, is a 2 black fairy rogue with flying and haste. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, choose any number. Each player discards a card, each player loses 1 life and draws a card, or each player sacks a creature of their choice. With double strike, you do that twice.
Yeah.
So you can have players discard 2 cards, lose 2 life and draw 2 cards, or sack 2 creatures. Which on your sacking 2 creatures is the obvious good mode here because your board is kind of built around that, and that's fine. That's a lovely backup to have if your Squall is getting locked down, tapped out. There's all sorts of ways you could have problems you can have with that one. I haven't put her on here, but Miri the Cursed is another one I use that has flying haste and something else. And whenever she attacks, she gets 1/1 counters. When she does combat damage, she gets 1/1 counters, so she'd get 2 a turn. So it might be worth considering having backup for Squall. The only problem is that Rankle and Miri both are 4 costs, so you can't recur them with Squall. So this is a bit of a one-off, like, I need to diversify what's happening on other people's boards. Also, they make good targets to sacrifice if you need to have sacrifice targets, just to make sure everyone else sacrifices things with Playcrafters, that sort of thing. But
and
yeah,
they're good blockers because they're flying as
3/3.
well.
Yeah, flying 3/3, flying blocker that gets bigger with 1/1 counters on Miri. Yeah, like, they're both really good cards. And that was my thought process I had of, like, because Voltron decks often have a problem in that their commander is so obviously the target that it's very easy to go, well, this is my card. And everyone goes, cool, remove it. I've given it Shroud. For how long? When's the second doesn't have Shroud? Cool, get rid of it. Like, if you're fighting the table, your Voltron commander is very, very, very fragile. So, yeah, back up.
100%. And speaking of backup, well, this is more of a protection sort of thing. My next card is a Final Fantasy card this time.
Oh.
It is actually a Final Fantasy card. And it is probably going to be in most of the decks that we speak about that have white in them. This is Zach Fair. He's a 1 cost, so he costs 1 white. He's a human soldier, 0/1. Zach Fair enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. And then you can pay 1 to sacrifice Zach. Sorry, you pay 1 and sacrifice Zach Fair. Target creature you control gains indestructible until end of turn. Put Zach Fair's counters on that creature and attach an equipment that was attached to Zach Fair to that creature. So Squall can be a pseudo equipment deck, especially with things like Brotherhood Regalia and other equipments that give Shroud and Unblockable and all of that sort of stuff, and power him up and everything. You could equip those to Zach if Squall's not out, and then bring Squall out. Zach could die if somebody tries to take out Squall, other than an exile effect, obviously, to protect Squall, and then suddenly Squall's got a +1/+1 counter, or however many Zach has, and any equipments he had attached to him. So, yeah, very good card, and he's a 1 cost, so you just keep bringing him back, so you've got that protection on board all the time.
Indestructible is not as good as the Hexproof or Shroud because Indestructible doesn't dodge exile effects.
No.
So it's not perfect, but it's very flavorful. I mean, Zach's role in Final Fantasy 7 is to turn up and die, so ideal. It's expanded in other games, but in Final Fantasy 7, Zach is literally turn up. Cloud gets a weird thing, and then thinks his life is Zach's life, or something like that. I can't remember. Zach's involvement very much feels like he turns up and dies.
I think he died before the games. I can't quite remember. I think he dies
before the game starts, and Cloud sort of copies his personality or copies his backstory, because Cloud's is all about how he screwed up or something. I can't remember.
As you can probably tell, seven is not our favourite Final Fantasies.
No, but then again, you can't claim 8 is. You can't claim 8's better than 7, for God's sake.
Oh no, they're not better. I wouldn't say any Final Fantasy is better than another. It's just it's not my favourite.
No,
unless it's 11 and 14.
14. People like 14. I don't
People do like 14, but I'm just not big on MMOs. So
yeah. Well, 11's also like famously shit. Like, there's no way around how bad 11 is.
This is true. But yes, Zach Fair was my next card.
Mm-hmm. All right. Let's go for some spicy deep cuts.
The spicy meatball.
I'm going to go for this one because I found this and went, hey, wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. Archpriest of Shadows is a 3 black human warlock, so it won't work with the recursion trick. However, it has backup 1. When this creature enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. If that's another creature, it gains the following abilities until end of turn. Death Touch, and whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle player, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
So that would, if Squall attacked alone, that would trigger 3 times. And one of those triggers is anything. There's no restriction on it.
So,
mana-wise, I mean.
Because of backup 1, in other words, the 1/1 counter can go on anything. If you put it on the Archpriest of Shadows, it's a 5/5 with Death Touch. So, starting point, Death Touch is a fantastic blocking mechanism. It's just great, because anything that attacks you, if you block with this thing, if it dies, that's a shame, but also, doesn't matter how big the other thing was, it dies too. The Death Touch is a really good way to say, hey, there's 2 other opponents, and if you attack me, you will lose your creature. People don't want to attack into Death Touch. Always a good start. Making it a 5/5 with Death Touch means it might survive, which is really, really good. And then if you can swing with it
doesn't it have those abilities anyway?
It does. Backup means it can give those abilities to another creature.
Yeah.
Point is, if it's a Death Touching 5/5, and if you get around to next turn, if you attack someone with it, and if they block with any creature, that creature dies. So they are much, much more likely to let you get the hit in, and then you can recur anything. Your graveyard is full of small things that Squall can recur, but I've given you one already that's a big thing that people won't expect you to recur, and suddenly a flying hasty rankle coming out again is bad. Also, where this gets particularly nasty, Archpriest of Shadows has backup 1, which means you can give the 1/1 counter to, I don't know, let's say Squall.
Yes.
Squall is then an attacking, double-striking Death Touch with an extra 1/1 counter that can recur 2 things on his own, and will also recur 2 other things, because whenever this creature deals combat damage, it triggers twice.
I thought it was just once.
So you're recurring 4 things. Now, where this gets particularly grim, Josh has already said Plaguecrafter. Just as an idea, this deck, because it can cycle things out the graveyard, loves to sacrifice. If you have a free sack outlet on the board, say, I don't know, Bartolome del Presidio, who is on my list of awesome cards to play in this deck because he's a free sack outlet, the ability to sack things for free is awesome. If you play the Archpriest of Shadows, give the 1/1 counter to Squall, then sacrifice the Archpriest of Shadows, it goes into the graveyard, which means you can recur once Squall hits with double striking Death Touch, 3 other things, and the Archpriest, whose 1/1 counter goes back onto Squall, and it keeps going again and again and again. You're welcome.
Yeah, that's nasty. That's nasty. Wow.
I looked at it and went, I really wanted to fall because I like having that like restriction of like if everything's 3 and under, whenever Squall attacks, you've got like, ooh, my entire graveyard. Like that's great. Having the choice is really good. But then there was like, but back up. Oh, back up in this. This is nasty. Yes.
Yeah, that's a really good card. Now, one way that you
also,
could
50p. 50p. What is wrong with people? Go on.
One way that you could get cards into your graveyard would be through using mill effects, milling self mill effects to mill cards into your graveyard and then recur them back with Squall. However, if you have a particular strategy in mind that you want to use for this particular game, you might want particular creatures in the graveyard to start recurring them.
Fucking tutors.
This is a graveyard tutor. It's a sorcery. It is Buried Alive. It costs a black and 2 for a sorcery. Search your library for up to 3 creature cards, put them into your graveyard, then shuffle. So you could put your Plaguecrafter into the graveyard. You could put anything that's mana value 3 or less into your graveyard so that you can start getting those creatures back out. I don't mind playing these. I don't really play tutors that often, but this is a graveyard tutor, so I'm not instantly getting value out of it. So
in this deck, popping a thing in your graveyard you can recur forever and cycle forever isn't. It's a tutor. Man, fuck tutors. All right, I'm saying it. I fucking hate them. I've not had this on the podcast yet. I'm going to put it down as a. They are rubbish. They are terrible ways to play the game, and I'll explain why in a very quick and easy way. You have 100 cards in your deck. Admittedly 40 are lands-ish, and one's your commander. But the rest are random. You will see between a fifth and a quarter of the cards in your deck if you have some card draw in your deck, maybe slightly more depending on how good your deck is at cycling or drawing or surveilling or scrying or whatever. You're not going to see all of them, and that's a good thing. Variance is good. You want to build a deck where if you draw a card, it will be most effective in a wide variety of scenarios. What tutors tell you is it doesn't matter what you draw. If there's one game changer, if there's one stupidly expensive card that you spent all your money on because it's your favorite, because you've got a tattoo on your arm, then
I bought Squall for £1.
Bad example, but you see my point.
Yeah.
If you have a pet card, congratulations, you drew your pet card. Your 1 in 5, 1 in 4 chance of finding your pet card during the course of a game suddenly became a 1 in 2, or a 1 in 2.5, depending on how you look at it, because that tutor literally just replaces the effect turning up at random when you draw it. If you play 2 tutors, 3 tutors, 4 tutors, you are going to see your cards, which means you will play your deck the same way every time you play it, which in a 100-card singleton format is just depressing. You're playing with variance. Sometimes variance is balls. Sometimes variance is I've only drawn lands or I've not drawn enough lands, the classic problem in Magic. But also, if you always draw the same 5 creatures, what was the rest of your deck for? Why'd you play anything? You could just play anything. You could play a card that says 1 mana, put it on the board, it does nothing. Not even a creature, it just sits there. It's a 1 mana enchantment that just sits there doing nothing, saying, I'm waiting for my guard, I'm waiting for my tutor. If that's the way you want to play, there are formats for you. There are formats where this kind of gameplay is, frankly, encouraged. CEDH being the obvious one, which is just a higher form of Commander in many ways, but it's Commander where you finish the game by turn 3, turn 4. That's normal in CEDH. Or it goes to turn 50 bajillion because everyone sits in a board storm. Canadian Highlander is entirely designed around I play the best cards in the game. It has net decking deck lists. If you want to play like that, there's formats for it. Casual Commander with your friends is not where to go, right, I'm a tutor for the thing that I need to win the game, and then I win the game. And everyone goes... Compare that to, I've just drawn, hang on, okay, if I do that to that to that, I think everything's now a fish. And then we go, why does that matter? And you're going, but I have a card that says all fishy cheese. And suddenly the game becomes vastly more interesting because you're trying to make all of these rando cards interact in a synergistic, fun way. Which, is it more skilled? That's debatable. I think it's more interesting. And yeah, graveyard tutors are just tutors but it's a recursion commander, so... I mean, congrats, you're just tutoring with a cheaper tutor than a fucking worldly tutor. And it's not on a game changer list, so you can do it without worrying about bracketing. Well done. Have a biscuit.
My Celis Rune
My
Knight
rant is
deck,
over.
my Celis Rune Knight deck is tailored to play in a particular pod. Not like a particular pod of friends I have, but if I was to go to a game store, that would be the deck that I would bring, because it has tutors in it. Not the really expensive ones, because I'm not spending that sort of money on them, but it has tutors in it that allow me to go searching for the cards that I want. And the way that the commander works, I can draw through my deck really quickly. So it's built to be for that particular thing. But yeah, tutors, and I run 2 tutors in Sam and Frodo, but the funny thing with that is that I don't always go for the same cards, because it's always dependent about what I have on the board. I never have a plan. I had a game against my son, and I played one of the tutors, and at that point I had 13 tokens on the board.
Cool.
Some of which I could tap for mana. So in order for me to win out the game, I went and got House in Emerald Archdruid, put him on the board. In order
for me to win out the game. You've highlighted the problem. That is the issue. Because what you're doing is you draw your tutor and go, cool, I've drawn the card that says I win. And that's basically what a tutor is. It means no matter what's in my deck, I will now go and find the removal to stop you from winning. I will go and find the board wipe to get us both back to 0 so I can try and get the process going. I will go and find the card that I know will make my current board state a winning board state. That's what you're doing. And it's pedestrian, man. It's the same principle.
I sent you a picture of that game.
I know.
That board state, we'd been playing like that for an hour. And I was like, there's nothing we can do to each other here, because he's damaging me and I'm just healing.
Sure, there are situations where a tutor finishes a board stall. I get that. Yeah. I'm not saying that's wrong. What I'm saying is that I hate that it's our first port of call. Because trying to work out how to make a game go one way or another with what you draw, especially when you have a complicated board state, because Commander has more interactions than chess. It's one of the most complicated games in the world. To simplify that down to, I go and get my big thing and I smack you with it and I win the game, all that gets from me is a very lazy, like, congratulations, can we now shuffle up and play a proper game? Because that's all that's going to get from me. And I know I'm not alone at this. Like, content creators all around the world are going like, maybe not tutors for a casual game. What's the point? Yeah, kinda.
How many cards have you got left? We're doing 5 each. I've got 1 more.
I've got 2 to pick from. Actually, no. I'm going to go with this one. I've got 1 more.
Yeah, you go, and then I'll do my last one.
All right. So I've talked about cards like this before on other podcasts. In black, you are very good at cheating death, motherfucker. And cheating death is great. Cheating death is basically you play an instant or do something to a creature that says when it dies, it doesn't die. Always a good ability, always a great thing to do. This one from Torment, which is, God, is that 1993? No, 1993. It's an old card. It's a very old card. Shade's Form, 1 black. Enchantment Aura. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature has pay 1 black mana. This creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. When enchanted creature dies, return that card to the battlefield under your control. It does the cheat death effect. Cheat death is great. Cheat death is a great way to, especially with sacrificing things, you can sacrifice things, bring them back again, which in this deck, setting up recursion loops, no bad thing. Putting it on Squall. To be clear, we've not talked about this that much, but the way this deck tends to win is through commander damage. Because you hit with your double striking commander. If they block, they lose their creature. Chances are you don't lose yours. If you hit, you recur things, and they start racking up commander damage. Because it's double strike, it's real fast. It happens very quickly, because I've been on the receiving end of more than once. Because this enchanted creature has pay 1 black commander, this creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Squall's already a how big? 2/2? 3/3?
No, he's like a 4/3.
4/3.
No, 3/4, sorry.
3/4, great. That's fine for the maths. Squall's a 3/4, which means that you will take 6 commander damage on a hit from him because of double strike. If you take 21 commander damage, you lose the game. So easy. He's a 3/4, 7 hits, you lose the game. With this enchantment on him, if he dies, it doesn't matter, he comes straight back in, no skin off your nose. Also, he returns on the same turn, which means he won't be summoning sick on the next turn, so you can attack him again. These are all good things. If you pay 1 black mana, he's a 4/4. Only for this turn, but with a 4/4, you will win the game in 6/4.
3 attacks.
Yeah, because it's an 8/4, 8. done. If you have 2 black mana spare, which you should do, it's a black-white deck, he's suddenly a 5/4. Well, it's doubles 1, it's 5/6, doesn't really matter. With 5 damage, you're going to win in 3 attacks, but if you've done 1 damage elsewhere with him, you've won the game. If you've got 3 black mana floating around, you'll win in 6, 12, 2 attacks. Like, this doesn't need a lot to suddenly make the commander damage possibility over the course of a turn or 2 real high. Yeah. And yeah, that was my final pick. Also, the art's incredibly weird. It's a sorceress turning another warrior into, it looks like a harpy. I don't know.
That sounds really cool.
It's no, it's like 80s fantasy art. It's not bad. Just
I'll have a look at it because I've not looked at I never look at the cards that Chris lists for the episodes, because I like to be surprised when Chris says them. So most of the cards that I list, Chris already knows. So which is fair. So yeah, I will have a look at that. I'm going to do one honourable mention. Something that's not on my list, but I do need to mention it because it is a very good card for Squall. It's a land card, and it's called Cathedral of War. Cathedral of War taps for a colourless mana, but it also has Exalted. So if a creature attacks alone, that creature gets +1/+1. Works very well with Squall.
You've sort of slid over it a bit, but yes, his recursion says 3 or lower, which means you can recur lands.
Yeah.
Which is great, because lands sacrifice themselves. Sack lands, tap lands, there's all sorts. Any land that sacrifices itself to let you go and get another land, which a lot of them basically do, you can recur it with Squall, which means you've actually, in black and white, ramped. Congratulations, not easy to do.
And you're filtering through your deck as well, because you're pulling your lands out.
Yeah, it's true. Also good, yeah.
Now, my last card, I think I've mentioned this card in a previous episode. I'm not 100% sure. I think I mentioned it in the Ratadravig episode, but it's it's such a threat in this deck, because it's like, do I take out Squall or do I take out Frodo Sauron's Bane?
Oh, fucking hate
if you're making Squall unblockable and Squall gets removed, you just make it so Frodo Sauron's Bane's unblockable and have it on its final tick to instant kill things and then instant kill somebody. I'll just read it out to you. So Frodo Sauron's Bane is a single white for a halfling citizen 1/2 for a white black hybrid mana. So 2 mana in total, white in any combination of white and black.
Oh no, it's so tough.
If Frodo Sauron's Bane is a citizen, it becomes a halfling scout with base power and toughness 2/3 and lifelink. I didn't realise about the lifelink part. That's cool. And then for 3 black, so 5 mana in total in your deck, basically. If Frodo is a scout, it becomes a halfling rogue with, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, that player loses the game. If the ring has tempted you 4 or more times this game, otherwise the rings tempt you. So yes, the ring does need to tempt you, and you can add ring tempts things into this deck if you want to make it just a little bit more complicated. But it's still the fact that as soon as that comes on the board, that's a threat.
You don't need to. It's whenever it deals damage.
Yeah.
It'll have double strike.
This is true.
Twice.
If Squall's still on the board, yeah.
I mean, assuming that if you play Frodo and Squall's still on the board, I, as your opponent, am going, which one are you going to try and attack me with? Because, frankly, you can move that Brotherhood Regalia between creatures. You could very easily go, I'm just going to kill you with Frodo now. It wouldn't even be that difficult to do. Yeah, because 2 attacks and you're dead. It's that quick.
Yeah, it's a very good sort of pairing with Squall, which is why I love it so much, because I have quite a few Frodo Sauron's Bane, and it's like, what deck can I put it in now?
Oh, it's such a good card. Oh, should I put it in Ratadravig? No, it's
in my Ratadravig.
It's cruel.
It's in my one, I think.
No, I don't love win the game cards. No, not nowhere near as vehemently as I don't love. Well, hate tutors, but win the game cards tend to be that kind of. What happens now? Oh, I play this card and it says I win the game on it. No. Okay.
I've only ever won the game with him once.
Against me, I know. I was there.
Yeah. But for me, it's more the fact that he's a 1-cost threat that's on the board.
Yes.
And it's like, I can pump him if I want to.
Yeah.
Or you can remove him, and then you've used your removal on him, and I can do something with something else. That's what I like about him, is he's a magnet.
Yes. Yeah. And playing cards that are literally there to make other people go, ooh, that's the threat. And you go, yes, that's the problem. Very good cards, especially in any... We were talking about Sam and Frodo last time, especially in Sam and Frodo. Like, there's a commander where you want everyone to go, hey, look at all these horrible things. Ignore Sam, who is actually the engine.
He's the thing that's making everything work.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Right, well, that's everything for Squall. So that's everything for today's episode. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We'll be back next week. Who are we talking about next week, Chris? Another Final Fantasy one. Yeah,
see, we can't talk about my favourite character because, unfortunately, their card is quite dull. So instead, we're going to talk about Zidane, Final Fantasy IX, and I will have a rant about Final Fantasy IX and their choices. Stay tuned for that.
They don't have Amarin in it, but we'll get into that in the next one. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for watching.
Amarin.
We will see you in the next episode. If you like what you see, do check us out on Twitch for our D&D content, and come back here in a couple of weeks where we will have another episode of this going out live. We'll go not live, but going out. Anyway, bye.